Okay, in this lesson, we want to talk about important part of the software, that is object snaps. Here in the bottom of the software, we have all kind of snaps that you can activate them by clicking on them. We have some other snap that when you go in your mouse over this part and holding control, we have some interesting other snaps. And if you hold shift, we have other snap here. In the tools, we have object snap here. All of the snaps will be listed here. The important snaps on object that you can click and select on 3D object. We explain you in detail. Okay. First, beginning from the end. End means the end of other objects, the end of the curves. Here the ends. Okay. For activating the snap, first you have to select the tool. For example, I want to insert a point. I want to add a point at the end. As you can see, the tooltip tell you this is the end. As you can see, we are in the end of this closed circle. The circle will be begin here, turn back to the here. This is the end. Those are the ends. As you can see, those are ends. Or you can snap your, for example, tools to drawing at the end of the 3D objects. Those are 3D objects. For example, in this surface, we have a surface. This is isoparm. The isoparm means the line or the edge that that surface creates from that, and this is the end of that curve. Or, for example, the ends will be not work with those are subdivisions. Let's delete that line in between them. Okay, the end not work with mesh, but we have in splines. As you can see, those texts are a spline, and you can tell at the brick part of the brick, the broken part of the edge, we have the end. Deactivated near. Near means you throw on an object. You can walk on an object, for example, on the body of the curve. This is near. You can snap to the curve. This is near. For example, here you can select the near. Okay, this is near. Or in the edge of the surfaces, poly surfaces, as you can see, subdivisions. All the near work in all of them, or meshes, but not meshes. We have another snapping for mesh, or on a near curve of that spline. But for surface, we have snapping on a surface. We have other snaps. This is near, so you can snap on a body of your curve. And points. It means you can snap to the point or all control point of software. Control A to select all kind of the object in a rhino that I will prepare here for you, and you can select the show control point. Sorry. And this is all the control point of all kind of object. You can snap to all points. For example, you can draw a line in between those control points. Simply click, click, click. Okay? Because of the point snap, it means all the points. For example, in this text box, you have two control points. You can select them. Or control point of, for example, lights. This is the shape of the lights, but it has a curve and control point. You can snap. And interesting point here, you can snap to the vertexes, or you can vertex of the mesh, because they have control point. Okay, you can select and change them. So you can snap to any point and control point of any object that you create in Rhino. Right click to hide the control points. The middle point of the objects. For example, I have a curve here going to the top. For example, I have an curve here. The middle of the curve is somewhere here. For example, select another tool, and here you can snap and find the mid. And the tooltip tells you this is mid, or the mid of these lines, or the mid of this curve on any 3D object. For example, middle of that line, that curve create that surface. Middle of that curve here, it's a middle. Okay. You can find the middle of them. Center is interesting, but it's different for any object. Okay, going to the top, for example, I have an circle. I want to add a point, or for example, create a line from the center to the bottom of the circle. Going to the border of any object is automatically select your center for you. You cannot find the center and search for that. Simply going a little above the circle of the area around that object, and automatically find the center of that object for you. Just click and another click for create a line from center to other places, other position of the object. I want to add a point, for example, the center of this arc. As you can see, this is the center of your arc. That's at a point here. Right click to first, you have to select your comment. We have not center of the lines, okay, but we have center of the surfaces. This is a polysurface. Here the center of the polysurface. Here is a center of the curve that create that surfaces. Center of that. We can find the center of the polylines going to edge of the edge of that surface. It automatically define the center, and click, and you can add your point at the center of that surface. This is a polysurface, and the center of that surface, as you can see, going to the this arc, because this arc create that sphere. You can select its center, add a point that, or this is a polysurface like this. You can click and center, and here, for example, you can find the center of that object. If you want to move other edge, you can insert it near. Okay, so you can find the center of any object. For example, center of that, as you can see, going most over a little above the edge, and you can automatically find the center. The another is intersection. For example, in the top view, we have those two cube square that intersect with each other at that point, and you can select them. Okay, for example, I want to add a point at intersection. It automatically, and the tooltip tell int, it means intersection. Or for example, you want to create a line in between this intersection. If intersection is not active, you cannot find the intersection between it. Just we have a near. And the perpendicular, or something interesting about intersection, you can intersect in a 3D objects. For example, I want to add a point or draw a line. As you can see in this line, it is in a 3D above of that object, and actually does not physically intersection between them. But if you change your view, in this view, in this direction that you look at the view, you can see we have an intersection here, and there's something called apparent intersection. Okay, we call it apparent intersection. It's just intersection into this view. But if you change your view, it can just select the intersection that it's in your view, not physically and real intersection. Okay, this is interesting about intersection. Going to the top, and we have something interesting called perpendicular. Perpendicular, First, you have to select a line tool or anything that select first outside of the curve that you want to perpendicular to it. And the second, click if you go in your mouse over your destination curve, it automatically tells that is the perpendicular to the curve, and you can click again to draw your perpendicular line. For example, I want to create a line exactly perpendicular. It's automatically snap to the perpendicular and everything is correct. Or you can perpendicular to your 3D objects, not important, for example, that surface, because those of the surfaces make up edges and the curves, and you can simply add a perpendicular to that. Easy. Okay, you can create a perpendicular line to that. Or you can draw a tangent to the object. Create a line going to the top. For example, from here I want to make a, I want to create a line tangent to the object. First, activate near and just move the object and automatically tell you that is a tangent. This is in a tangent, and you can see it's exactly at the direction of the tangent of that sphere. For example, this, and automatically tell you that is a tangent. You can snap and click it, draw your line. This is quadrant. This is a quadrant of, for example, circles, ellipse, or other curves. For example, I want to create a line that the quad of the circle is automatically select the quad. The quad separated the circle in a 4 segment. Okay. Or a quad to ellipse. Okay. Or quad to this arc. Here is quads. And here is another quads. Just move along the curve and it's automatically find the snap that you want. Okay, those are the quads points of that arc. Another snap is knot. Knot is actually the position that the tangent of the curve will be changed. For example, I showed this is something the one, we have one knot here, we have one knot here and here. You can select knot. For example, you can draw a line at the knot. As you can see, we have a knot here, another knot here, and another knot here. Okay, we can find a knot in this way, the curves. And the interesting part is vertex. You can snap now to the meshes, subdivision, vertex of the meshes, vertex of the subdivisions. For example, as you can see, we can snap to the mesh, snap to the mesh, snap to the vertex of the subdivision surfaces. As you can see, this is a vertex. This is important because we do a lot of things with that. If you activated a lot of snaps, okay, and for example, you want to draw a line and the snaps are annoying for you, for example, you can holding Alt to temporarily disable the snaps and do your work, and after that you can release the hold to all the snaps bring back. As you can see, you can hold VR snaps, but they're temporarily disabled, and you can do your job and click and then release your Alt, and all of our snaps are turned on again. Okay, in those snaps, I just need end, near, point. Those are important for me. Or vertexes, or vertex. Another behavior of the snap is called calling. It means it just snap to the, for example, I want to activate near a snap and I want to create a line along the curve, it shows me it is a near, but it does not go the behind that. It's actually a snap to the something that you can see it. Okay, as you can see, we have a curve back of that cube, but it does not snap to that. This is a behavior of a snap, and we are going to explain interesting snap when you hold control on the area of the snap or hold shift. Okay, the first snap when you holding control on a snap area, it's the from. For example, you want to create a sphere. For example, create a circle from that point to the constant distance from that point. Okay. First, select our tool, holding control, and click from. Just one click. And it says you please select that base point that you want to create your circle from that. And here we back to the center, the settings of that circles. That's why I explain the circles in the next lesson. Don't worry. Here, do not click or do not change anything. Just specify the lengths that you want to constant distance from that point. For example, 20. And as you can see, I have a 20 constant of length, and I can draw my circle from that point with this constant distance. That's it. This is from. First, select our comment to draw, and then we can use our snap. It says one shot perpendicular. What is the one shot? I will explain you when we reach to the here persistent. This is different between one shot and persistent vendor. Okay, this one shot, just you know that this is one. This snap will be specify your first click, your one click to the snap. When you click other snap, you have to select again. Okay, I will explain it. Don't worry. Now I want to explain perpendicular from. You can select that. First, you have to select your, for example, it says you please select your curve or surface that are perpendicular to. For example, I want to tell you I want draw a circle perpendicular from that point that's selected on a curve. Select the curve and select the point that you want to draw a circle from that point that is perpendicular. A guide will be showing you that this direction is perpendicular to that point that you select at the curve, and you can draw your circle. That's it. Hold and control. Another thing is tangent from. Click on that, and you can select your curve. Oh, sorry. First, you have to select your comment that you want to use a snap with. For that, hold control and tangent from. Says you please select your curve and you want to create a tangent point, tangent direction from that point. As you can see, this is the tangent direction of that point that was selected on that curve, and I can draw my comment, draw any comment that you selected before the previous, and I can draw my circle. I can draw my circle and the tangent direction of that point that's selected on the curve. It's easy. You can practice. First, select another comment, holding control, and interesting thing is aligned line. Select that. If you want, for example, we have a line here and we have the circle. First, select the center. I want to draw another circle here that it is a parallel or no, I want to explain the align. For example, I want to draw a circle align from this center to this point. First, the tools, the snap tell you please start tracking line. Select that. This is not line. This is just specifying the tool, a specifying tool. And select the center because I active the center. And this is the alignment. The software tell you, okay, you specify the 2 points for me, and this is the align that 2 points. And you can draw your circle, draw your point, draw your anything, align between 2 points, and that is your comment. Another interesting tool is align parallel. For example, I want to draw a circle, align parallel, align to its center, and parallel to this line. Okay. So select your command, go in control and click to align parallel. First, it tells you please show me the line that I want to move parallel from that. Select end or start of that, and it tells you please select a point that I want to draw your another circle align to that, parallel to this one. Select the center, and this is an alignment line. As you can see, this is a parallel with that line and align to the center of that circle, and I want, and I can click another circle that is in a align with its centers. Another tool is one shot on a curve. It's almost like near, but if sometimes near does not work correctly, you can choose that. For example, I want to draw a circle along that curve. First, select my circle tool and then holding control, and you can click on curve. It tells you please specify the curve that you want to move along that. Click that and you can move along your curve and create your object. It's like near, but when you understand that your near in a complex model does not work properly, you can select that because it specify exact curve for you, and you can just exact. For example, if we have a lots of curve here, and it is for example, it's very hard. Sorry, it's very hard to. What am I doing? I want to holding Alt to copy that. For example, when I select a near and I want to add a point, as you can see, it's very hard, for example, to select your line. In this tool, you can select a specific curve and just move along that. So you can easy doing your work. Another tool is we reached the one shot on surface. Here you can go in on the perspective and draw your, for example, line on surface, on those are surface, on I will explain them with that, on a surface, on a mesh, on a subdivision, anything that here. For example, I select my tool. I want to select draw a polyline on a surface, holding control, and here you can click one shot on a surface, one shot on a poly surface, so you can snap your on a poly surface, on a surface. I will explain with the surface, and you can do exactly with the mesh, with the subdivision, any 3D surface. So we have something persistent on a surface and a one shot on a surface here. click on a one shot on a surface. It means first it tells you please select that your surface that I want to draw my line, the polyline on it, and the tooltip tells you on surface. Okay, as you can see, the one shot means if, for example, as you can see, I have an polyline tool that I want to click and draw my line. One shot means the software, the tool tell you just I can snap one click on your surface. The other clicks are not snap on the surface. This is one shot. Click that the first one shot snap is on the surface, and the others, when you select that, as you can see, those are not snap at the surface. This is one shot. Just one, the first click snap to the surface. But if you want to snap all of your point on a surface, select your polyline holding Control, and you can select persistent on a surface. And select your surface, and you can click, and all of your points, pay attention, all of your points are snap to the surface, not the body of your curve. For that specific tools, we have some tools. For example, you can go in here and interpolate curve on the surface. It's automatically snap all of your point, all of your body of your curve on the object, on the surface, on a mesh. Or in a previous lessons you saw here, you can draw a polyline on mesh. It automatically snap all of your point, all of your curve on meshes. For example, here you can select, for example, select your curve. No, you can just select your polyline and select your mesh, and the polyline will be snapped automatically because we have a vertex snap. This vertex, select a vertex, as you can see. You do not see holding Control or anything, just directly draw for you. So you can understand between one shot on a surface. We have one shot on a surface, one shot on a poly surface, one shot on a mesh, and here persistent on a curve, persistent on a surface, persistent on a poly. We have a corresponding tools here, persistent on a mesh. I explained the one shot and persistent on a surface, and you can practice yourself with other meshes here. So the one shot is snaps your one click, but the persistent snaps all of your clicks till your comments will be end. You enter or right click to end your, for example, polyline or curve. But for example, when you going and select a curve on it, holding Control and persistence on a surface, select the first surface, click, and as you can see, just a point on a surface. You can select that curve, activate the control point. As you can see, all of our point on a surface, not the body of the curve. Okay, if you want to draw a curve exactly on a surface, you have to go in here and select, go in here, and I will explain you, go in here and select the interpolated curve on a surface. It's exactly draw your curve on a surface. Okay, and going to the tool, I explained all of those tools, but we have something special here. When you holding shift, we have just two new snap here, between and a percent. What is the between? You can, for example, I want to draw a circle in between two points. Holding shift, select between. It says you please select the first and the second point, and you can draw your common, anything that you want in between two selected points. Another interesting snap is percentage. It means, for example, I want to draw a circle in 25% of that curve. Select your common Holding shift, one click on a person, it tells you please select the curve. I select that curve. And a snap percentage, you can type any number here. For example, the default is 25. And right click. As you can see, the software divided the curve to the 25 segments. And you can execute your command. In this mode is creating a circle and create your circle. From that point is in 25% of the end of the curves. Okay, so you holding Control or holding Shift, you can access all of those settings that are in object. Okay, you can select them from here, or you can simply holding Shift or Control from this area. And we have on object persistent, and this ticked and activated. It's a snap to the locked object. If you locked object here, you can snap to them, and that's it. It's all sitting above the snap. I will explain the project in the next lessons. Hello my friends, to continue these tutorials on YouTube, subscribe us, like us, and hit the bell icon. And now you will be alerted about all of the amazing videos that we release.